Hey guys, welcome back to Stuff Made Easy. Today's video is going to be on the different types of simultaneous equations.
Alright, so the first simultaneous equation we're going to look at is the easiest one. This is because we have 2x on the top equation and the bottom equation, so we don't need to do any rearranging, multiplying, dividing, none of that. I'm going to start off by writing it down here, both the equations, and 2x plus y equals 7. And I'm going to subtract the second equation from the first one. This is because we only have to deal with y and 7 over here, as opposed to negative numbers if we subtracted 3y from y. So write that in, 0x, you don't need to write this, I'm just writing it to make things more easier to see, plus 2y is equal to 6. So y is equal to 3. Now I'm going to write this in, sub y into, and I'm going to use the second equation because we only have to deal with y here rather than 3y, so it makes it easier. And I'm going to write this. So 2x plus y, which is 3, equals 7. So 2x is equal to 4, x is equal to 2. Now it's really important to write this step in because it makes it clear to the examiner to see that you're working, because more often than not, these questions require a decent amount of working shown to get all the marks. And sometimes they even write it at the top, you must show detailed working. So having this written in is super important. Alright, now we're on to the next one. I've already labelled it 1 and 2. This time, none of the variables, so that's a and b, have the same integer in front of them. We've got 1 over here, 2, 3, and 4. None of them are the same, so we're going to have to do some rearranging and multiplying. I'm going to start off by multiplying the top one by 2. This is so that we end up with 4b on both equations. But I'm going to write the second one first. So 3a plus 4b equals 34, and you'll see why in a minute. Second one times it by 2, so I get 2a plus 4b is equal to 28. Now the reason I've written it like this is so that when we go and subtract the second equation from the first one, it just makes more sense to do it this way rather than having it written the other way around. It's easier to see. So we end up with a plus 0b is equal to 6. So a is equal to 6. We can actually just take away that 0b. We don't even need it there. So a is equal to 6. Now I'm going to say sub a into, looking at the equations, I'm going to use the first one because, as you can see, a has no integer in front of it, so it makes it easier to deal with.
I was meant to write sub into 1.
6 plus 2b is equal to 14. So 2b is equal to 8, b is equal to 4. And that's how you would do this one. Okay, for this one, we've come on to a slightly different type of simultaneous equation. This one involves substitution, and we can see here that we have a is equal to 20 minus 5b. So we're going to sub this in to this equation over here. So what I'm going to start off by doing is writing this. 6, 20 minus 5b minus 2b equals 24. And I'm going to start off by opening up the brackets. So 120 minus 30b minus 2b is equal to 24. Now I'm going to pop the b's on this side of the equal to, and take the 24 onto this side, like so. I am going to take away the 24 from 120, which leaves me with 96, and that is equal to 32b. And now if I divide that all up, I'm left with b is equal to 3, because 96 divided by 32 is equal to 3. Now I can take this b back and pop it into this equation. Now again, label your equations 1 and 2. You still have to do that, even though it's slightly different. I'm going to say sub b into 2. And so a is equal to 20 minus 5, and then again I'm going to put the b in brackets. So a is equal to 20 minus 15, a is equal to 5. Now you've seen 3 different types of simultaneous equations, and those are the 3 skills you're going to need to have before you try to tackle harder problems. So multiplying equations by a common factor, subtracting or adding one from each other, or using substitution as well. So now we're going to look at slightly harder problems, which involve maybe 1, 2, even 3 of these skills in total. Okay, so now we're going to look at slightly harder problems. We're going to start off by labeling our equations, 1 and 2. Now, looking at these two, it would be pretty hard to try squaring one of the equations or timesing it by y to get something similar. So instead, I'm going to turn it into a substitution equation. I'm going to do this by rearranging equation 2. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to say 3y minus 1 is equal to x. This gives me an equation to substitute into equation 1. So I'm going to actually label this one 3. And I'm going to say sub x or 3. You can use either. Oh, let me write or 3 into equation 1. I'm actually going to start doing that on here. X squared, so we're going to write 3y minus 1 in a bracket and put the square on top, minus 3, again, 3y minus 1, put the y out, remember to keep that y in, don't forget, plus y squared equals 11. So now we only have y as a variable to work with in this equation. Start off by opening up the brackets, so 9y squared minus 6y plus 1. And then over here, you're going to have to open it up twice. So you can do something like this. Put another bracket down and open up this section first. So 3y squared minus y plus y squared equals 11. Again, write it all out. This is good practice and shows you're working as continuous. So minus 9y squared plus 3y plus y squared equals 11. We have this now. What I can see is this 9y squared and this 9y squared is going to cancel each other out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I am left with a y squared. Pop that here, y squared. I then have minus 6y and plus 3y. So that's going to give me minus 3y plus 1 equals 11. And now I'm going to turn it into an equation that I can factorize. So y squared minus 3y minus 10 is equal to 0. And to do this, I can have 5 and 2. Let me know if you guys want a video on factorization in the comments. Anyways, y minus 5, because we have a negative here, and y plus 2 equals 0. Okay, so this leaves us with y is equal to 5 or y is equal to negative 2. So now we have two y values and we're going to sub it into the equation that we worked out before, which is this one, number 3. And this is because it will give us the exact value of x without having to do too much working. Now, it's really important to note that I'm using this equation here. If you want to be extra careful in an exam, use one of the original 2 equations they give you because that ensures that you haven't messed up. Anyways, so we're going to sub in y equals 5 into that. So sub y into 3. And I'm going to write 3, 5 minus 1 is equal to x. So 15 minus 1 is equal to x. X is equal to 14. And if I write that as coordinate, it's going to be 14 and 5. Remember, the x goes before the y. I was about to write it the other way around. And then again, we're going to do that for the other y value. So I'm just going to do it here. 3 minus 2 minus 1 is equal to x. So minus 6 minus 1 is equal to x. So x is equal to negative 7. And then again, writing it with coordinates, we're going to get minus 7 and minus 2. Like that. That's how you would tackle something slightly more tricky using a couple of different steps, including substitution, rearranging, such as what we did between 2 and 3. And yeah, obviously there are way harder questions out there. As long as you have the basic steps learned pretty well, you'll be able to spot how to tackle those questions in the future.
Thank you for watching this video.